SKOL Vikings, let's win this game.
Vikings fans, the last few days around the Vikings have been nothing but noise. Every time this team takes a breath, somebody cooks up a blockbuster trade. There's a wild theory involving a massive piece of the offense. There's cold water being thrown on a spicy quarterback idea. There's an old decision that has aged horribly. There was a heavy locker room reaction on social media, and at the end, a career move that hits anyone who lives and breathes Vikings football. Stay with me. But before we start, real quick, subscribe to the channel. It's free, and it strengthens this community in a big way. And jump into the comments and drop your message. All right, let's talk about the noise that came back out of nowhere. Every time the team breathes, somebody invents a massive trade. And now the target is our best player again. Only this time the push is coming from California. The story is simple. People tied to the San Francisco 49ers are saying Minnesota should at least listen to a Godfather offer for a certain wide receiver. And in the middle of that chatter, the name Justin Jefferson pops up. This is not a rumor from inside the Vikings, okay? This is media theory from over there. The kind of thing they do when they want to dream big. Journalist Tim Kawakami from the San Francisco Standard floated the idea. His angle is, if the 49ers need a wide receiver one, why not try for the best on the planet? He even referenced a conversation with Nick Wagoner from ESPN. And he talked about sending at least 2 first-round picks. I know, it almost makes you laugh, but it also gives you that uneasy feeling. When a big brand starts planting this stuff, the noise spreads fast. Now, let's get real. Why would the Vikings do this? What's the point of walking into 2026 saying, let's go chase a Super Bowl, and at the same time giving up the guy who can flip a game by himself? It doesn't add up. It doesn't fit Kwesi Adofo-Mensah's logic. It doesn't fit the locker room. It doesn't fit the mindset of anyone who lives and breathes Vikings football. And there's the part people hate talking about, the money. Trading Jefferson isn't just grab picks and move on. There's brutal dead cap. People are talking about a hit of more than $40 million landing right on your lap. And with the team already having to juggle the salary cap, that would be like pouring gasoline on a fire. To me, that alone kills the fantasy. From the 49ers side, I get the desperation. Brandon Ayuk has turned into a mystery. He vanished from the plan, vanished from the vibe. And the talk over there is he could be traded or even cut. Plus, there's the whole situation with other receivers heading into free agency, so they're hunting for a star. That's normal. But this is Minnesota. Jefferson isn't a replaceable piece. He's identity. He's the guy who makes the opposing defense panic. And that's why when you see a theory like this, the fan read is simple. They're trying to create smoke and see if anybody blinks. And only here do you get that real bleacher-level red because we know how this movie usually starts. Now tell me in the comments, do you think there's any impossible package that would actually make sense? Or is this total nonsense? Because the next story hits another trade fantasy. Only this time, it's about who's running the offense. Hold up, because the next conversation is about quarterback, and some people are really pushing it. The idea floating around was, what if Minnesota went after an expensive veteran to shake up the quarterback room? It sounds tempting when you're still mad about what you saw in 2025, but not everything that shines is gold. The group pumping the brakes this time was Bleacher Report. They labeled Minnesota a bad spot for a certain name, and here comes the main character, Kyler Murray. Their argument is that the fit isn't that simple in Kevin O'Connell's offense. They say the system tends to favor a more drop-back, rhythm-style quarterback, and that Kyler isn't that. I get the point, but some of it feels lazy. O'Connell likes a pocket passer, sure. But when Cousins went down in 2023, the team turned the whole country upside down with Joshua Dobbs for a few games. That was pure improv, so you can't pretend mobility is forbidden in Minnesota. If a guy completes passes, reads the game, and wins, the scheme adjusts. Bleacher Report also threw out another one, that Kyler might struggle to even win the job over J.J. McCarthy if the competition is close. That's where I raise an eyebrow. Murray has years in the league. He has elite accuracy. McCarthy, so far, has been a roller coaster and banged up. If you bring in a name that big, you're not doing it to sit him. Nobody swallows a massive contract just to watch him hold a clipboard. And there's the health angle, too. Kyler missed a big chunk of 2025 with a foot issue. And there was that soft benching talk in Arizona. True or not, that kind of noise sticks. Fans here have real trauma with quarterbacks who can't stay healthy. So yeah, I get why people hesitate. Now let's talk price. Even if Arizona thinks about releasing him or moving him, the contract number is scary. You put that on the cap, and the rest of the roster changes immediately. There goes trench help. There goes depth. And people are saying the Cardinals want to decide his future by early March, so this one could heat up fast. What's funny is that after criticizing Murray, Bleacher Report smiled at 2 names that bring nostalgia and controversy, Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers. Cousins has history with purple and gold, and the offense has weapons for him. Rodgers, that's the full package. Talent, drama, and cameras everywhere. And the idea would be letting McCarthy sit another year and learn. But let's be clear, if the front office truly doesn't trust McCarthy, there's going to be smoke all offseason, and every big name will turn into a headline. What I want to know is the real plan, because theory is easy. Building a team that can survive January is hard. And stay with me on this transition. The next story isn't theory. It's a slap in the face about what we let walk. It hurts because this isn't a rumor or an internet theory. It's real life right in our face in prime time. The kind of reality that makes a fan swallow hard and stare at the ceiling thinking, how did we get here? The name at the center of this is Sam Darnold. Yeah, the same guy a lot of people defended, a lot of people trashed, and in the end almost everyone felt split about. Well, he went to the Seattle Seahawks and put them in the Super Bowl. In the biggest game, he dropped 346 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 turnovers. No panic, no collapse. It was control and guts. And here comes the gut punch. After that 14-3 in 2024, Minnesota decided to flip the switch and hand the franchise to J.J. McCarthy. The logic was spreadsheet logic. Less money, more future, more project. But 2025 was a disaster at the position. The offense sputtered. The team still finished 9-8 because the defense carried the load. But they were left outside when the cold really hit. Let me say this as clearly as possible. That decision has aged badly. Darnold can lose the Super Bowl and he's still already gone farther than we've gone in way too long. And that hurts. It hurts because you look at the quarterback efficiency numbers in 2025 and Minnesota is down near the bottom. 5th worst. And still, the defense was top 3. So you get that feeling, it was just a functional quarterback away, and the story could have been different. I know. Just isn't simple, but you feel the weight of it. And there's another thing we have to admit. A lot of people stamped Darnold as a choke artist forever because of how 2024 ended, and he went out and snapped that label in half. Seattle believed. They backed him. And now they're cashing in. Meanwhile, we tried to patch it together. McCarthy got hurt again, Carson Wentz had moments, Max Brosmer showed up. It was patch after patch, and patches turn into tears in January. I'm not saying paying him would have been easy. The team invested in the line. They brought in heavy trench help like Will Fries, Jonathan Allen, and Javon Hargrave. On paper, it looked smart. But today the question is brutal. Was saving money worth it if the cost was wasting a season of real contention? The way to stop the bleeding is easy to say and hard to do. Either the Vikings swing big and trade for an elite quarterback, the kind of move that raises the whole ceiling, or McCarthy takes a massive leap and becomes the unquestioned guy. Without that, this conversation never dies, and the fan base in purple and gold will keep reliving it every week. Tell me in the comments, do you think the Vikings should go all in for a big-time quarterback right now, or ride with McCarthy for one more year? And you know what made it even weirder? Guys from the team reacted immediately on social media like they felt the same thing we did, and that's exactly why the next story gets even hotter. You know when a game ends and you can feel something is stuck in your throat? Yeah, that's the vibe. Because right after the Super Bowl clincher, reactions started popping from guys who've been in the Vikings locker room, and fans read it and think, okay, this isn't just congrats. The guy in the middle of it is Sam Darnold again. Not because he said anything, because of what he triggered. Current and former players were posting messages, stories, and tweets, all in that wave of respect. Cameron Bynum posted Sammy D to the bowl with respect. Christian Darrisaw dropped Bin Him with a photo of Darnold. And that says a lot. Darnold was loved in that room. This isn't just a pretty story from the outside. Then came the moment that made everyone stop scrolling. Jonathan Greenard tweeted only 3 dots. That's it. And my friend, 3 dots on the internet today can be an entire chapter. The timing was insane. 2 minutes after the game ended, I saw it and thought, oh man, here we go. It looked like someone holding back what they really want to say. Then he realized how the fan base in purple and gold read it. So he followed up with 2 more tweets like what happened and point proven. After that, he also congratulated Darnold on Instagram, calling him Hooper and saying go get one. So it wasn't a direct public shot. But you also can't pretend it didn't hit fans who are already frustrated. And look how it lines up with what we lived in 2025. The defense played great. Greenard himself was a major piece when he was healthy. But the offense had no consistency with J.J. McCarthy, and the team tried to survive with alternatives. Fans see Darnold heading to the big game and immediately think, man, if that was him here, we'd be in the tournament. Then they see a Vikings player drop 3 dots and boom, it becomes a mirror for the whole feeling. There were also reactions from legends and ex-Vikings. Tommy Kramer wished Darnold luck. Chris Carter even misspelled his last name at first, then corrected it. Jake Reed also sent congrats. That's the human side of it. You can be mad about the path the team took and still recognize the guy earned it. Now, speaking as a Defend the North fan from the stands, this kind of reaction exposes something delicate. The 2026 offseason is going to be massive for the people running everything, because when the locker room starts signaling even indirectly, the pressure doubles. And hold on, because the next story flips the mood. It moves from the pain of what if to a feel-good memory that hits you right in the chest. A Vikings icon just turned the page in a way nobody expected this fast. Now the tone shifts. We move away from trade speculation and into a memory that hits you in a good way. We blinked and a guy who symbolized this place is already starting a new life in football. The name is Adam Thielen, but hold that for a second, because what grabbed attention wasn't only that he retired, it was how fast he flipped the page. Less than 2 weeks after announcing he was hanging up the cleats, he showed up on television in prime time. And he wasn't a background extra. He was talking playoffs, pressure, and leadership like he's been doing it forever. Thielen joined NFL Game Day morning to break down the Denver Broncos situation. Bo Nix fractured his ankle at the end of that wild overtime game, and Denver is heading into the big one with Jarrett Stidham. The desk brought in Thielen because he's lived that movie in Minnesota. Back in 2017, Sam Bradford went down and Case Keenum took over, and the offense kept moving. A lot of passes went to Thielen. A lot of confidence got built inside chaos. He explained it exactly like that. He said he could feel in practice that Keenum had something, and that once the game starts and the backup hits a couple plays, the whole team buys in. It sounds simple, but it isn't. Locker room confidence changes blocking, routes, and play calling. And when he talks, you can tell. This guy understands an entire team's heartbeat. And here's the part that hits this fan base hard. Thielen isn't just another former player. He's pure Minnesota, undrafted, built himself here, became a star through work and pain, made history in purple and gold. When you look at the numbers, it's 704 catches, 8,497 yards, and 64 touchdowns in his career. But what really matters is the memory. Third down, hands strong, chains moving, stadium exploding. The heavy detail is this. This could be more than a one-off appearance. People have said this was basically a test run for him to land a bigger television role next season, and I can see it. Thielen speaks calmly, he's respectful, but he doesn't hide. He lived it. He's not reading a script, he's remembering it. So that's where we are. An icon ends a career, and without even catching his breath, opens the next door. And I'll tell you, that hits anyone who lives and breathes Vikings football. Because you feel time moving, and you realize today's decisions become tomorrow's memories. And that's where this whole conversation gets more serious. Because when you stack everything we've talked about, you can feel that 2026 is not just another season. All right, breathe with me. Because the whole picture gets clear when you connect the dots. You've got people outside the building trying to push Justin Jefferson trade theories like Minnesota is a clearance rack. You've got the quarterback debate turning into a weekly soap opera. A big name like Kyler Murray pops up and disappears at the same speed. And in the middle of it, Sam Darnold reaches the Super Bowl and forces us to stare at a bitter what if. Jonathan Greenard's reaction and other guys' posts show the locker room feels the weight of these choices too. And then, to top it off, Adam Thielen is already carving out a lane on television. He's reminding everyone what it looks like to build confidence when the original plan collapses. I'm going to plant a flag. 2026 is decision time for the Vikings. There's no dodging it. Either this team gets the offense right and truly clicks, or we're spending another winter living on stubborn hope. And I'm done with great defense as the whole story. I want January with real stakes, with Defend the North meaning something for real. So drop it in the comments. This space belongs to everyone who lives and breathes Vikings football. Do you want patience with J.J. McCarthy, or would you go all out for a veteran who's already ready? Stay tuned. SKOL Vikings, let's go!